Managed IT Solutions, and happy Wednesday. We're here with our weekly Wednesday video to talk about things IT and cybersecurity related for small businesses. Last week, we talked about passwords. This week, we're going to talk about spam. I'm not talking about the thing that comes in a can. I'm talking about those emails that you hate getting. So, why do you think it might be important to have a spam filter? Well, from a personal standpoint, I get way too many emails. And without a spam filter, I'd probably get double that amount. But besides cutting down on the unproductive time that I would have having to go through all that spam, it also protects me from bad guys, hackers. They like to send out lots and lots of phishing emails and spam emails. They're hoping to get you to click on something. Basically, it's their best tool. 92% of all compromises to businesses happen because of something called a business email compromise. Um, Basically, that's a email that gets sent to people that maybe have a fake UPS link to go check the tracking on your package, or FedEx, something prompting you to reset your 365 or Google password. Um, those are the most common. What you're really going to have to watch out for, though, for spam, and make sure your spam filters are set up properly, or make sure that your incoming mail servers are set up properly to flag, is external emails. You're going to want to have anything that's an external get marked so you can clearly see, because what you don't want to happen is have your employees get an email from the CEO. Um, let's call her June, telling an employee that they need to go buy 100 gift cards for an event they're having come up, and then to have them call them or email them, more specifically email them, um, all the codes off the back after they scratch them off. Because basically, once that's done and you have those codes, it's like having cash. So that's one of the ways that bad guys get your money. The other thing that you would be worried about for a business email compromise, coming from external CEO Joan, is her telling someone to change their way that they're sending money to one of their customers or one of their vendors, so that they don't wire money by order of the CEO or the CFO to the wrong person or wrong account. So again, that's a huge amount of um, that's a large way that many hackers get money from small businesses, and actually large businesses too. Um, so trust but verify is what it comes down to. So if those emails do make it through your spam filters, because they do sometimes, that's why you have the external marker. So if it still looks like it's closed, but it's not your domain, it'll still say external. That should raise a flag with someone. And the other thing is too, um, from a business email compromise position, if you do have someone who gets compromised, their email account gets compromised, their credentials are leaked out or whatever, and someone's able to get into your systems, this is where a policy would come in about how you deal with large money transfers or gift cards, or anything else you can think of from a money perspective. You want to make sure that your employees know that, hey, if I ask you for money and it's more than like $5, you might want to call and verify that it's actually that person who's asking for the money and has the authority to ask for that money. And always have them initiate the call. Always have them initiate it to a good known location. I saw an article just today that a institute in Hong Kong, um, yeah, their CFO wired $25 million to a bogus account, and they did so by using AI. That's right. They used AI to impersonate the CEO, as well as several other employees of the company. The CFO thought it was a little odd to be getting this request, but once those people showed up, the AI created lookalikes. The AI emulated the voices of the people, and so in the course of the conversations, the CFO was convinced that he was talking to the right people, and sent the $25 million because it was a video call, and why not? So just want to make sure everybody understands what's coming down the pipe, what you might see. Now they are a big target, and you know the hackers spent some good time uh, researching the photos and the videos of the people at the top, as well as getting voice samples so that they could do this. Um, but like everything else that happens, you'll see that big companies get hacked, and then smaller companies will start getting hacked for with the same tools because it becomes easier and easier. Not to say that it will happen tomorrow, but I'm quite certain that in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, we're going to see more of a proliferation of this type of fraud where there's an actual video call going on and they're trying to convince the employees that they need to send these funds. Um, and it'll probably trickle down to larger small businesses, businesses that might send $1 million or $2 million to a vendor or for a payment for something or another. But still, um, you could potentially see them doing it if it's something that takes them an hour to do, going after companies that might have $100,000 that they pay out. People always ask, why do they get targeted? Typically, you don't get targeted. I think in this case, they were because they worked on this. But again, as the tools get easier to use for the hackers and the semi-professional hackers, what will happen is they'll have to spend an hour, maybe 2 hours in prep to do something like that. Perhaps these hackers spent 10 hours or 20 hours. But again, it's a matter of numbers, right? What makes sense? I get asked by people all the time, why would they do it? And it's a numbers game, what it comes down to at the end. And then, if as a hacking organization, because that's how the vast majority of hackers work these days, um, you spend 40 hours to make $100,000 or $1 million, probably more like $1 million for 40 hours. That math works out really well. I think that's $25,000 an hour for 40 hours. It gets even easier, and they can do it in 4 hours. Then, again, $100,000 target becomes feasible, right? It's still $25,000 an hour. I don't know about you, but I do lots of different types of work for $25,000 an hour. Um, it's a good way to make a living, I guess. So that's what the guys do, the organizations do, and they probably don't pay taxes either. So it's even better for them, right? So keep vigilant. Make sure you've got some policies surrounding how you transfer money around. Make sure that people have a good way of reaching you. And sometimes it might be a matter of you have to do like a nuclear policy where you have a two-person validation system for something like this, or for X amount, it has to be done face to face and not via video call. Or I guess if you did video call, maybe you have a keyword that you rotate on a regular basis. I don't know. I'm trying to think about all the movies I've watched and how people try to keep things secure, or the government tries to keep things secure. So two-man policy is one of those things. A rotating password is something else that comes up in these types of situations. Yeah, we're not trying to keep the nukes from launching, but it can be just as devastating for your small business if you were to lose a substantial amount of money. Sometimes your cyber liability policies will cover it, or cyber fraud policies will cover it, and other times they won't. Always talk to your insurance provider. If you can get them to verify with the underwriter, that's the best thing to do, just because there's a lot of moving parts. Insurance guys have to keep up with. Cyber's kind of new. They might not know exactly what's going on. So I would always ask them to verify with the underwriter personally, unless, if you have a firm that all they do is cyber security policies for insurance, then that might be something that they may know off the top of their head. I did get a little off topic today. We were talking about spam filtering. So I'll go back to that real quick before I get out of here for the day. Spam filtering, productivity. That's one of the first reasons that we got spam filters. The vast majority of the traffic unfortunately, it is from spam emails. I think the estimate at one point in time was 80% of traffic, maybe even 90% at one point in time. I think that was pre-streaming or the because I can't imagine that streaming doesn't make up a large percentage of internet traffic these days. But it was spam traffic. So, your employees or yourself don't need to spend your valuable time sorting through crap email. In true spam email from guys who don't care, they're not going to have an unsubscribe link. So I wouldn't even bother to hit unsubscribe. In the past, we always told people if it was something that you didn't recognize, if it wasn't some name brand that was out there, don't click the unsubscribe link. All you do is sit there and flag yourself and say, hey, I'm a spammer. So yay. Or I'm not a spammer. I'm a spammer target. I'm alive. I'm an actual living human breathing human being. So, yeah, that's basically it for spam today. Now, if you have 365, there is a way to track who is selling your information to the spammers if you'd like. You can enable it with 365. Basically, you can take your email address, your normal email address, my name at mycompany.com. You can use a plus symbol to submit as an email address if you're going someplace. So let's say, for example, Amazon. You can go in and change your email address to my name plus symbol, Amazon at mycompany.com. And so anytime they send an email to that, it'll come to you into your mailbox. However, if you were to get an email, say, from, I don't want to pick on anybody, but we'll say Best Buy. If you were to get something from Best Buy and it said the email address was my name plus Amazon at mycompany.com, you would know that, hey, Amazon sold your stuff, right? They sold your data to Best Buy. So that's another good way to help filter out some of the spam is to use that tag. If you have any questions or you need any support for your IT or for your cybersecurity, we're really big in cybersecurity these days. You can visit our site at www.managedits.com. I'm going to try to do these videos weekly from the name, the weekly Wednesday video. Next week, I am off-site at a conference, so we will see how it goes. We will not be live from my home office. I'll be shooting live from location out in lovely Phoenix, Arizona. I'm hoping it's warmer there than it is here in North Carolina. And we'll see how that goes. I may have poor lighting and I might have a really interesting background. We'll see. So at any rate, join us next week for our weekly Wednesday video. We'll be going over another one of the 15 ways that you can protect your business from hackers and criminals.